everybody, it's me, Jackie, from Jackie in the Box, and I'm coming at you today with a cook and clean with me. I am pretty much cleaning my kitchen today. The rest of the house isn't too bad, so I wanted to get my kitchen caught up before I did my crock pot meal, which is the cook with me, of course. And it is a creamy chicken and wild rice soup that is so super easy to make. And I even make it in, when I don't do the crock pot, I make it in my soup thing. It's a little different, of course, but crock pot's super easy, and that's what I was going for today. So, and I actually came across this idea because I love Panera's creamy chicken and wild rice soup, and I wanted to figure out how to make my own, so I kind of looked at copycat recipes and came up with my own little recipe from theirs. And so it's different from the other ones that I've seen. It's kind of almost like a mixed together of some of them and then my own little twist. So I'm going to show you how to make that today in a crock pot. I love crock pot meals. They are the greatest thing ever because you just put everything in it and let it cook, and then it's done, and I don't have to cook dinner later. So I'm starting off today in my kitchen sink. I took all of my dishes out, and I'm trying to get everything thrown away. And then I'm going to just do a quick little clean on my sink. Nothing too major. I just want to make sure, since I did have dirty dishes in it, that my actual sink is clean. And then I go from there, of course. After that, I will pretty much, after I finish cleaning my kitchen, I'll show you how I make the soup in the crock pot. And then I pretty much, after that, I will probably hop back on here to explain it a little bit better, how I make it. So I'm going to leave you to it, and I'll let you watch the video.
Alright, so I am making a creamy chicken soup with wild rice. You don't need a huge amount of stuff really to do it. You just need chicken breast. I have used chicken thigh. It does actually give it more flavor, but I hate having to like cut it up. It's actually really hard to cut up chicken thighs as small, so these are actually easier. And I get minced garlic, the kind that actually comes in a jar and is still like, I don't know how else to say it except for it's still kind of wet, and you stick it in the fridge to use it. You need stick butter. You need flour. Well, this is kind of optional. Depends on like how you like your soup, whether or not you need flour. You need wild rice. I get rice-a-roni. It's easy. Well, it's easier to make with this. You need cream of chicken. I just get a big can, of course. You need chicken stock. And you need carrots and celery. This I've already opened and drained because it comes with a little bit of water in it. So I get this at my local Kroger. It's awesome because then I don't feel like I waste anything. I use every little bit of this. Alright, so this is kind of what I use. And let me show you how I make it.
Alright, I don't know if anybody else does this, but I go ahead and kind of almost preheat my crock pot so it does actually start warming up before I put the crock back into it. I don't know why I do this, but I do it. I guess because then I feel like it heats up quicker. And then I start chopping veggies. So I pretty much try to get the veggies done as quickly as possible. And I try to make them, like the carrots, I try to make into squares. And the celery, I tend to try to make smaller, and most of the time I cut it in half, and then I try to like make them smaller. I'm not a huge celery fan, but I do like it in some things, so I do try to kind of make them smaller pieces when I'm putting them in the soup, but I do like the flavor that they bring. So, plus, like I said, I'm trying to get veggies into my daughter and my son, so I like how this works out, because they end up devouring the veggies in the soup. I don't know if it's the flavor of the soup takes over the vegetables, and so they tend to be more okay with eating the vegetables out of the soup, or what, but I can get my kids to eat the vegetables out of the soup way easier than on the normal basis, so kind of one of my go-tos because it's one of my favorites, and my kids will eat, the actual vegetables. Right here, this is kind of what I do to the chicken. I try to get all the stuff that I don't want, because some of the chicken breasts still come with like a little bit of fat stuff, and I try to get all of that off. And then I pretty much cube it and try to make it as close to the same size as possible. And then I put that into the crock pot, and I do that to all of my chicken breast. And then from there, I fill it up with chicken stock, and I use the whole thing. I use every last little bit of that chicken stock. Then I go ahead and I open up the creamy chicken, and I put that into the crock pot, and I use the whole thing. That's the one thing that I like about this recipe, is I literally use everything that I have. So I put the minced garlic in there, and this is what I do with the rice-a-roni. I take the packages out, I dump the rice in, then I open up the packages, and I dump those in. So the cool part about this is I get a little bit of flavor because of the rice-a-roni packages too. And then for some more flavor and for a little bit of that, I put in 2 tablespoons of the butter. And then I mix everything together. And from here, I go ahead and I put it on for 4.5 hours on low. You can see me doing that here. Now I'm gonna go ahead and clean everything up, all the mess that I just made.
Alright, I just checked this, mixed it, and it doesn't look bad. It's definitely about halfway done, which is a little over halfway done, which is where I want it. This is where, if you want it even thicker than this, you would put your flour in. I actually don't mind where it is right now, so I'm gonna go ahead and leave it without the flour. I have put it in before. It helps just thicken it up just a little bit more. Sometimes it's actually a little bit more soupy, depending on, like, I don't know, depending on how things are, I guess. I've had it soupier before and I've added it and it made it that thick, but right now it's actually looking really good, so I won't need any flour. And even then, the flour that I put in, I don't put a huge amount. I put like maybe about a teaspoon or tablespoon. I'm sorry, not a teaspoon, a tablespoon in. And I just kind of mix it in with a fork just to get it in there, and then I mix it with a spoon the rest of the way to get it like incorporated the whole way through. I do also do this recipe when I haven't laid out everything for the night before. I've done this recipe separate in one of my soup pots, and then I do have to use the actual flour in that one to get it to the where I want it to be. But so far this is actually working out really good. This is like perfect, but still a little bit more to go. So just wanted to make sure to put in here about the flour. Otherwise, it would be silly to have had it into the beginning.